Hello everyone, I hope you're doing all well, and for this one I'm testing Hogwarts Legacy. So let's get to the settings. In display options, I used windowed full screen. It doesn't allow full screen, only windowed. Now DLSS will be for the gameplay at balance preset without any sharpness. Ray reconstruction is disabled because for some reason in this specific game it completely destroys the performance. I increased field of view a little bit, as you can see here, and I left only depth of field enabled. All the rest post-processing effects are disabled. And for graphics options menu, everything is maxed out as far as it goes. This video is going to consist of two parts. The first one is going to be the gameplay with my commentary, and the second one is going to be the comparison in CPU bound scenario in Hogsmeade with RT and without. First of all, I have to address one major thing, that this game got updated quite recently, I think in January 13th, and with that patch the performance got quite a lot worse. It included quite few notable improvements, such as even better ray tracing, ray reconstruction and DLSS 4. But as I mentioned, with that the CPU performance or overhead got so much worse. So if you are comparing this video with other people results on YouTube, keep in mind when they were released. Another note that needed to be addressed is the ray reconstruction performance penalty on GPU. In other games, the performance hit is not really that big. From what I saw, it's typically between 8% and 15%, but in this one, it's strange. With ray reconstruction enabled in this game, and all the ray tracing effects, my 3090 gets properly demolished, and I barely can exceed 30 FPS. It becomes completely GPU bound, but also pretty much unplayable, so it's very atypical performance hit, and I can't really explain it why. So that's why I decided to not to use it for this gameplay, and for my own. And talking about that, I finished this game quite recently as well. I finished all the story and side quest. Also, I did a lot of Merlin quests or challenges, I believe, and other quite small and unimportant collectathons. In general, the collectibles are pretty much useless, I have to say, and the rewards are really not there. For some reason, for example, there was one challenge which I had to unlock 16 chests in Hogwarts Castle, and all it gave me was some cosmetic, and it was completely useless to me. Not even stat-based item. So that's one case where I was really disappointed with the reward system. But yeah, in general, the story is quite decent, I would say. It's not really that impressive. There are no really story twists and other unexpected outcomes, I would say. So the story is, I would say, serviceable, but not really something super impressive or anything like that. However, the lore of the game and the castle of Harry Potter is actually pretty good, and it was pretty much a redeeming factor for this game, and for me, as I do like Harry Potter franchise and I really like the lore of this game, and exploring the castle was quite fun actually. Even though I quite like the lore and the Hogwarts castle, there are a lot of negatives for me for this game. As I mentioned before, very unrewarding challenges and way too many of them. The story was okay, serviceable I would say, and the gameplay was fine. The biggest issue with the gameplay, or with combat to be more precise, is that it only allowed 4 spells at a time, and shuffling them between different presets is not really that feasible in combat. So what I did is basically I stuck with 4 same spells for the entire game, and that's like 50 hours of gameplay, and that's quite disappointing, to be honest. I think it might be related to controller layout issue, but since I played on my PC, I chose with keyboard and mouse. And with keyboard, as you may know, there are a lot of buttons to press, and maybe they could make it like you didn't need to shuffle through those 4 spells all the time, and it would make so much better. Imagine you can access like 8 spells at a time with various degrees, but maybe you would become a little bit overpowered, but I'm not sure, I'm just thinking about it out loud. So while I did get my money's worth out of this game, about 50 hours or so, it kept me there playing, but I have to say I actually prefer the old Harry Potter games. I believe the Harry Potter 2 and 3 are the best ones. They are excellent platformers, and they are so much tighter in experience. Every lesson is an adventure, I would say. And this one, you basically do a shopping list objectives, go to your teacher, do like 5-second minigame, and that's it. You go and you carry on with your other objectives. So while they are very different in design and approach, I do agree that some things this one does better than the old ones, except graphics of course, because that's quite obvious. I still do prefer the original Harry Potter games. Although anything Harry Potter 4 and beyond was quite a disaster, so there is that, but yeah, as I mentioned, the original still wins for me, by a mile.
Potato! Stupid one! Confringo! Bombarder! Stupid one! Confringo!
And I think it's time to go to the next chapter of this video, going to be the CPU testing in Hogsmeade. Now the main graphical settings are exactly the same as I shown before, except I changed DLSS to ultra performance, that would be 720p resolution upscaled, to ensure the CPU bottleneck and test only CPU, not GPU. So as you can see, there is a major difference between ray tracing effects enabled and disabled. There is basically twice as much performance without RT in CPU bound scenarios, and that's massive. It used to be a little bit better, as I mentioned, and now it's even worse. And honestly, as much as I like ray tracing, this is very rough. Oh well. The silver lining is that it's going to be way more interesting revisiting this game in the future, so there's that. And I believe that's it for my commentary. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.